Welcome, my beautiful viewers. This is James from Mzansi Media, and namhlanje silana eKatlung emncabeni kaLindo Kuhle umntana wakhe ke ubaba K.Mzansi, one of the parliament members we-EFF. As you know, the child was murdered kabuhlungu kabi. She was raped and she was poisoned. And namhlanje we are here with everyone, abantu balana elokishini, as well as the EFF members bazosupport ubaba K.Mzansi and this tragic incident that is occurred kulo mndeni wabo. Hlala nathi ke mndeni ukuthi ubone ukuthi kwenzakalani as we taking you through to the
because as much as umfundisi ufaka ikhona kunesigaba soba ubaba and masike ngolunye uhlangothi ubaba because I'm standing here ngabantwana bamantombazana and mangizothi kulomndeni it is well kufika isikhathi salomntwana I'll be lying zihlobo zami because I know for a fact ukuthi akusisi isikhathi lesi nabantu abafaka ibhuruku elifana nami aba useless. That is why now uthandana nomuntu onganangiphondo bethumane manje angenzile into enziwe lana komunye umntwana omzalayo wena because kunamadoda namhlanje angambona umuntu rape nje indoda. Kodwa iqiniso limile. Look Matthew chapter 5 or chapter 6. Kumthandazo wenkosi. Othi thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And amangibheka namhlanje sigcwelena namhlanje this is not the will of God. Namhlanje this is the will yabantu basemhlabeni abangamazi uNkulunkulu. Izintando kaNkulunkulu ithi asihlalisane ngothando. Intando kaNkulunkulu ithi respect omunye umuntu. Intando kaNkulunkulu ithi lamhlabeni we need to enjoy because wasibeka kulo mhlaba to enjoy. But instead of us enjoying, we've seen nowadays in TV. A 6-year-old girl, and guess what? The women was involved. Thy will be done. And namhlanje intando kaNkulunkulu beyithi bangibona umuntu elwa nawe fanele ngilamule. But namhlanje mabona abantu balwa uthi they must, you will just say let them carry on with their business. It is not my business because siphilesweni lapho umuntu ubulahleke khona abantu bafe baphila abantu basathwa namhlanje. But phezkwaloko thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It is not the will of God uthi omunye umuntu akhaliswa omunye. But because namhlanje abantu bathela against the will of God, they don't care to keep a position as long as you are against the will of God. That is not the will of God. I'm preaching to my politician. Where umuntu ane pay slip got 750,000 per month. Attends the intro got 15,000. Hey. Is that the will of God? And that is not the will of God. They are here because maybe lunch will be served. Because 350 rand has been blocked by someone. And that is not the will of God. What is the will of God? What is the will of God? That is not the will of God. ukuthi siphume shonke semathuneni. Ngicela ukutshela abantu abangaphakathi ukuthi lowo akusiyintando kaNkulunkulu. Uma bengingathiwa ngihlala phansi ngiprepare isermon ngithi ngiyoshumayela emgcwabeni, I'll be wasting time ngitshela abantu ukuthi kufike isikhathi solomntwana. This is not the right time. Izwi lenkosi uNkulunkulu usitike 70 years to live. Ngale kwalokho isibusiso abantu abafa before 70. It is not the will of God. That is why kuyinkinga lokuthi uthola abafundisi bokuthengwa. Hayi uThixo uvumile ngathi uvumile la. Abantu bekhohlakele. The problem yethu sincenga umnikelo ngabantu banikele esihlanu njalo. Usile because God usile. Usaba abantu abasile abantu abasile. You got the problem. Let's share you. We tend to be so. Sisi sabawusiza abafundisa abayungile. Hello baba mayashumayela. Ulo baba can follow team yakhe. There's no team la. Nonsense is nonsense. Akuna team namhlanje la. Uma ngabe indoda usukile ku platform yakho, njengoba bamfuna Adam ukuphi? That's why mo Adam. Noma ngathi agqoke.
Ole lolo, somthandazela shayidolo phansi somthandazela. 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 Asamele mafata, somthandazela shayidolo phansi somthandazela. Asamele mafata, somthandazela shayidolo phansi
We are here at the cemetery whereby we come in to lay our young sister to rest for a final time. It's very, very sad indeed for the family and the community and the rest of the EFF members. But then we'll take you through this journey, then you can see what is happening. This is Mzansi Voice, uncut and unfiltered.
Mina ngikuvuka nokuphila okholwa yimi kasoze afa noma efa wophila nalowo phila ekholwa kimi kasoze afa naphakade uyakholwa ilokho na kepha ngiyazi umhlengi wami ukhona ekupheleni yakuma uthulini lapho sasishabalela isikhumba sami ngiyakumbuka uNkulunkulu ngikhulekile enyameni yami engiyakumbona uqobo lwami amehlo ama yakumbona kungabe njengokufakaza phakathi kwami kawuphela esifubeni sami.
Ndiyazi ukuba umkhulu wami uhleli asizanga nanto ukuze emhlabeni singephume kanjalo uYehova obenikile uYehova ohluthile igama lika Yehova malidunyiswe.
Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Engilithanda yomna, Engilithanda, oh fesonene, oh fesonene. Sindi pumle, nanga selila, kiya kiyogola.
Asamene mapata, sultanazela shaitolo pati sultanazela. Asamene mapata, sultanazela. Asamene mafata Sumthandazela shayito phansi Sumthandazela shayito phansi
This is Mzansi Voice, and we're still here in Motsamai, leader here to EFF. So now, right here next to me, I'm with one of the guys who's also a supporter, Motsamai. So now I would like to have an interview now. What is his feeling regarding this whole thing, the situation, the passing of Mutwana and stuff like that?
So, six streets in Kwano, Petakabakala, Batulang, one and Motsamai. So, Kabakalase, so it's a hundred, Nati after the Batu Lake. One ever to go to Fete, one ever no one number of Bailey, Kabakala Fella, Afogahetti Catalatis, Tabisi. Bafela how do you Kakono Renale, EFF, Renale PAC, and Aleme parties in Atanyana. Naki can give a much independent. So the gown never
my people how they are feeling because now we are still on this gender-based violence thing and they click fates all over Haba.
One of me, Tatariana, Obane, is Kahaki, I like to have some tools when I intervene. How to story, other than
K.Mzansi voice from Val. That Ukile Mona Katemo. Atia Ato Sapota, that Mr. Motsamai. Yes, Kalvana Motsamai was still on the case. It's I think Kamanika Kaletabo, whereby Olasanoka paper speaker machine. I expect a Lina Unantali busy after my case. Wish I am Twitter Lana of Manta Anita gets an some for my hair. Was a bit in the This is Mzansi Voice, Excalibur, uncut and unfiltered. Facebook, Retin, do YouTube, subscribe and follow to get the news as they are.